Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making this gorgeous Crisp Leaves Crochet Scarf. This one is so fun to make and just such a beautiful way to welcome the fall season. So I was going through my yarn not too long ago and I found this perfect fall color palette sock yarn. So I thought I had to make a lovely scarf with this. This is some lighter weight yarn, so you can wear this indoors even on the coldest days, or outdoors if you just need a little something on a warmer day. Fall is kind of a mix of temperatures, at least where I live, and so I thought this would just be a nice little scarf to have on hand. So we're going to go through the full project step by step and stitch by stitch. You can get the full written pattern over at the Fiberflux blog. We're going to go through the full video tutorial here on the channel today, going through it step by step and stitch by stitch. And you can also get the ad-free PDF patterns over in my Ravelry shop and my Etsy shop as well. All the links can be found down below for everything I just mentioned. Now, before we get started, be sure and hit that subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. I share full project tutorials like this one, stitch tutorials. Sometimes we hang out and just talk about crochet, themed roundups, all kinds of fun things. So if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure and hit that subscribe button and join all of our yarn fun that we have here on the channel. So let's jump in and learn how to crochet the Crisp Leaves Crochet Scarf. So let's look at this gorgeous scarf up close. This is done with the primrose stitch. This is a lovely stitch, but just really basic stitches. We're going to go through it together, step by step. And the finished piece is about 24 inches long and about 7 inches wide. However, if you want to customize the size of your scarf, you just work more rows of the pattern to make it longer. And I'm going to give the stitch multiple in just a few minutes to make it wider, so you can scale it. If you want it to be narrower or wider or whatever you want, you can really change the size of this if you need to. For this project, you'll need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle. A tape measure is super helpful, especially if you want to change up the sizing a little bit. We're going to talk about changing the width and the length of your scarf as well. We're going to be using a 5mm H crochet hook. This, as a side note, is my metal streamline in the bronze from Furls. I'll put the link down below if you'd like to get one for yourself. And then we're going to be using this gorgeous yarn. Now, I've already wound this into a yarn cake. This is called Araucania, and it's called Ranko Multi is the line. The company is Araucania. And this is colorway number 342, in case you're wondering. It just looks so fallish, and I thought it would be totally perfect for this. If you need to substitute yarn, look for a number 2 fine weight yarn. This is like a sock weight. And we're going to be using 376 yards of this. So 376 yards of a number 2 fine yarn, and you'll be just fine. And this is just like a beautiful like hand-dyed yarn. So again, I just thought it would be lovely. It has brown, tan, kind of like some reddish tones, orange, yellow. It's just lovely. Our scarf is stitched up in the primrose stitch, and that is a multiple of 3 plus 2. So we're going to do a starting chain of 38, but if you want to change the width of your scarf, you can go wide and make it a wrap. You could go a little narrower. Just stay in that 3 plus 2 multiple. If you're not familiar with the 3 plus 2 multiple, all that means is when you're doing your starting chain, just go 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 and so forth until you get about the width that you want, and then add 2 more chains onto that. That way you can scale it as wide as you need it to go or as narrow and still stay in that correct stitch count. So what we're going to do to begin is put a slip knot on our hook, okay? So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up that loop, and tighten. Then, like I said, we're going to do a starting chain of 38. If you need to change it, just stay in that 3 plus 2 multiple. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and just bring it through the loop. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 35, 36, 37, and 38. So here is our starting chain. It will give you a rough idea of how wide our scarf is going to be. And you can see this particular yarn that I'm using has some pretty quick color changes. So it's going to have a lot of nice, like a lovely variegated look. So let's move on to row 1. We're going to learn how to do 3 different rows for this. So for row 1, in the 3rd chain from the hook, this loop here does not count. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3, that 3rd chain from the hook. we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, okay? So to make a single crochet, insert the hook into that chain and bring up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops, okay? Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then in that same chain, work another single crochet, just like that. Then we're going to skip 2 chains, and then we're just going to repeat the same thing. In that next chain, work a single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and a single crochet, all in that same chain. So just repeat this all the way across, and you can see all these colors are happening. It's just so pretty. So skip 2 chains. In the chain after that, do the same thing. Single crochet. And if you notice, I'm going nice and slow. When you're using very fine yarn like this, and you're just starting out, there's a little bit less to hold on to. So I like to go nice and slow. Okay, so we're just going to repeat. Skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and in the chain after that, single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet. So we're just going to repeat this all the way across. So keep going across, repeating this sequence, and we'll rejoin in just a minute. All right, we're coming up towards the end of the row, and you just want to go until you have 2 chains left. So at the end of the row, skip the next chain, and in that very last chain, what we're going to do is we're going to work a half double crochet stitch. So to make a half double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into that very last chain, bring up a loop. Now wrap yarn around hook and bring it through all 3 loops, okay? So here is row 1. It looks very pretty. We got some nice little peaks happening on our row. So next what we're going to do is move on to row 2. For row 2, what we're going to do this time is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work. And then what we're going to do is in the written pattern over at the blog, again, the links are down below for that, you will see that I have this written as the chain 2 space. So remember in the previous row, we did a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. That chain 2 created a space, so we call it the chain 2 space, okay? So for this row, in each chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 double crochets, okay? Now you might need to kind of use your fingers and kind of dig around and find that space if it's not easy to see. But what we're going to do is work 3 double crochets in each one of those, okay? So to make a double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into that chain 2 space, and bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. And that's it, okay? So that's 1 double crochet, and now 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet, just like that. So we're just going to do this all the way across, okay? So hop over to that next one, and they're easy to find because they're little like points in your work, okay? So hop over to that next chain 2 space, and we're also going to work 3 double crochet into that, okay? We're just doing this all the way across. So 1, 2, and 3. So keep going across and we'll rejoin once we get to the end of this row as well. All right, just coming up to the end of row 2, working those last 3 double crochets in that last chain 2 space. And then to finish off the row, all we're going to do is work a double crochet in the topmost chain of our turning chain. Okay, so when we did our chains and then we turned our work, it created a turning chain. So all we want to do for this is locate that topmost chain. You might have to kind of, sometimes the turning chain kind of curves around. Just kind of look for that topmost chain and then work a double crochet right into that, okay? So I'm just going to kind of wiggle my hook in there. Again, it's pretty teeny tiny because we're using this fine yarn. And when you go into the turning chain, you might need to turn it a little bit, but make sure you're going into both loops. If you only go into one loop, it might kind of stretch it and distort it. So make sure you go into 2 loops on that turning chain. So we're just working that double crochet in the topmost chain of our turning chain. So we're making some beautiful progress. I'm loving these colors with this stitch. We're going to move on to row 3 now. So for row 3, this time what we want to do is chain 2 and turn. So chain 2 and turn your work. Then we're going to, okay, so you have these 3, remember in the previous row we did 3 double crochets that created these like groupings or clusters, if you will. Now in the center of each one, so you're going to skip that first double crochet, and in that second double crochet, which is also the centermost double crochet, because remember it was 3, you're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet, just like that, okay? And that's it. Hop over to that next little grouping, those clusters, skip that first skip that double crochet, go to the second double crochet, which is also the centermost one, and once again, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, okay? Super easy. All right, and we're just going to do this all the way across. So go to that centermost double crochet, that second one in, and go single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, okay? So keep repeating this all the way across, and then when we rejoin, I'll show you how to finish off row 3. All right, coming up to the end of row 3, and to finish off row 3, all we're going to do is work this time a half double crochet into the topmost chain of our turning chain. So just look for that topmost chain and work your half double crochet into that. So this is the whole repeat for our project. And all we're going to do now is just keep repeating rows 2 and 3, 2 and 3 over and over and over again until your scarf is as long as you would like it to be, or until you run out of yarn, whatever kind of comes first for you and whatever you have and what you're working with. So let's keep repeating rows 2 and 3 over and over and over again. Let these gorgeous colors play out, and then we'll rejoin in just a minute, finish up our scarf, kind of do some finish work, and our scarf will be ready to go. So just keep repeating rows 2 and 3, 2 and 3, and we'll rejoin in just a minute. Okay, just coming up to the end of the row here, working this last stitch at the very end. And I don't really have quite enough yarn to keep going, so our scarf is complete. So all we're going to do now is cut the yarn, and then that last loop you have, wrap your yarn around the hook and just bring it all the way through and tighten it down. So let's zoom out a little bit. How beautiful is this scarf? The colors are gorgeous. The stitch work is gorgeous. If you use some natural fibers like I did, you can block your scarf as well. If you hop on over to the blog, I'll put some links there if you wanted to check that out, but that'll kind of open up the stitches. If you wanted it to have more of like an open look like this, you can do that as well. So grab your tapestry needle, and what we're going to do is just weave in our ends, and I just have 2 ends because I made this with 1 skein of the yarn, and you're just going to go in one direction, and I like to come in the other direction because this is something you'll be wearing, so we'll get a lot of movement and it'll just keep those tails locked into place. So come back in the other direction with your tail. All the ends are woven in and our scarf looks gorgeous and it is complete. So that is how you crochet the Crisp Leaves Crochet Scarf. I hope you enjoyed this pattern as much as I did. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Happy crocheting, everyone!